Right, I'm ready. We've got some data at 9 o'clock, German business climate, and we've got UK GDP at 9:30. And oh wow, this Euro Aussie has just taken off. So sweet move this week. That is up from a low of 15. That's up 215, 220 pips so far. I'll just move that to there. Right, so markets are just about to open. The DAX is so flat. On the Dow, I shorted it twice. I shorted it at this point here, and then later I shorted it at this point here on the 15-minute chart. And the 60-minute chart, this is my 161 extension up here at 465. Didn't get much out of it, but I will come back and keep revisiting that. Right, let's get on to today's markets. Getting some much better volatility, so there should be more opportunity to make money. So let's quickly get onto that. Right, let's look at the pound. Right, and we are right on the daily 100 moving average. Coming to this session with a very bearish 60-minute bar, but we're right at yesterday's lows. So, and yesterday's close. So I want to see how this is going to perform. And immediately we are probing lower. DAX is quiet. Right, so we've got, I think the next level of support is just close to the 130. At the moment, I don't think that DAX is worth looking at. Let's have a look. We've got a 60-minute trend line underneath. That red dotted line is Sunday's open. Could fire up here. We've got all this trend line support underneath. Let's have a look at that on the upside. We're right on the 13,000, aren't we? So if we get a 15-minute higher close, you might want to buy a dip in that. But it's very thin market, and we've been treading water all week. Path of least resistance. We had a slightly higher close. Yeah, we're holding the 20-day moving average, so this could be a chance for this to pop up. I will keep an eye on that 982. If you're interested in that DAX, keep an eye on that 982. In the meantime, let's have a look at this range that we're getting in the pound. Yeah, this euro pound is creeping up again. We already had 100% of last week's move on that already. We are, and DAX is creeping up. Euro and the pound had a bit of a shot up last night, actually. Not the pound US, but the pound yen and the euro yen had a bit of a push up. So let's keep an eye on this one as well. Uh, 60 minutes is, we're right on the Sunday open with this one. Very nice daily bar yesterday. Right, so we've got the range already. I've got the close above us and the 200 moving average below us. Ideally, I'd like a push to down to 370. Got a very slow start at the moment. There's very little flickering going on my chart. The FTSE is low again. That actually had a higher close yesterday. Right, so coming into a range here, we've got that buy signal at 380. Bullish 60-minute chart, bullish 60-minute bar just closed. So I'm contemplating just buying here. Let's give it a bit more time. Okay, we're sitting right on the 200. I'm just going to take this to 395. So I'm long here at 395. Okay, just taking a small position here. So that the fact I've got a small position means that if it does drop to 380, then I can get long further down. Okay, so I've bought close to the floor of the range. You can see why we got a higher 15-minute, 1 hour close because of this pattern here off of 380. So if you're up earlier, you had the chance to get that level, 375, 380. DAX is ticking up a little bit. Pound's holding US holding yesterday's lows. I'm going to nibble here actually. Let me see. Look at the. Yeah, I'm just going to nibble here because we're on the daily 200. So I'm long pound US and long euro yen. And I'll explain why I've taken a low price here in a minute. First reason is it's on yesterday's lows and the 5-minute indicator is low. Second reason, we have on Thursday last week, we had a 1 hour hammer here. So we are retesting. Hammers often get retested. Third reason, we are on the daily 100 on this trend line I've got drawn here, this lower trend line. Okay, so we held the higher trend line. I dipped out of it in August, popped back up to the top. Now we are right down here at support. So I am just buying that there. Right. So that's all I'm going to do at this stage. Sit there and see if the euro yen can pick up and this pound can pick up. In the meantime, let's have a look at the dailies. In fact, I'm going to switch you to my other screen for a minute. Right, it's got a higher close in this 5-minute pound. I'm flat on the euro yen at 395. And the DAX is hardly moving at 13,000. Right, let's just switch you to my other chart. My other screen, sorry. So here we are with, like I said, I've just shown you this one. So at the bottom of a key pivot, we're touching a key pivot on the pound US dollar. We are on the euro yen. We had a bar above this level here. So I'm looking for this to potentially get up to at least 135, and who knows, maybe even more. This range is on 2016 range. We're right at, is that correct? Let me just check that. No, we're not on the 2016 range, are we? Right, that is the 2016 range. No, it wasn't much different. I don't know why I had it differently. Okay, so it looks as if that may, pound US is doing well. This one is dipping lower. And so you can see we're sitting high up here, very close to this resistance at 450. But looking to see if we can get to 138.50 is the 127 extension. If I just fib the last move, hang on, let me see, where should I be? DAX, not much going on in the market. Let's see if there's a better way, a better place to fit this. I don't think there is. I'm sticking to that. I just can't see a better way of fitting it. So the chart pattern we've got here is a potential for that to hit those higher levels. So it's a funnel pattern. We're holding the bottom of the funnel, and the higher the funnel is round about 136 plus on that chart. Let's now look at the pound US. So this is the 60-minute chart I've just been looking at. We have this support here coming from that low and this October 20 low last week. So if we can push ourselves up here and break this triangle, then I think we can do something. So just for those of you who just joined us, I'm long the pound US dollar. I've taken yesterday's low around about the 113, 114 mark. And this is the 60-minute chart you're looking at the moment. I'll show you the 5-minute chart later on in a minute. Euro yen, the 60-minute chart. I didn't show you that, did I? Hammerlight bar, close above, right on Sunday's open now. This is why I was buying it yesterday. So we came into the Sunday highs. Excuse me. Look, so next target is potentially 460. If the week can really get going, there's that 136 I showed you in the daily chart up there. And just so you can see what I'm doing on this one, this is the Euro Aussie dollar. This is the trend line coming right under the bottom. This is a fantastic chart. And we had this little bull flag up here. It took a while to get going up here. And we just started coming out of it this week. Through and through. It's just the third touch of this resistance. I'm looking for this to power up to 156.78 on that one. We've done over 100% of this of last week's move already. And what else do I like? Let's look at the pound yen as well. This is looking good. So gapped up into the 127 extension. So if we've waved down 3 waves, let's update that resistance. So here we are with that support now, right on support. So this is one. I've got Bank of England meeting next week and a half away. So far we have had all these dips. Okay. All these dips are getting bought. And you can see we're just in this real pincer action. So there's the bottom of the channel. There's the top of the channel. Just looking to see if we can punch out of that. So that is looking weak right now. So there's the pivot, my weekly pivot down there, floor trader pivot at 910. May come and test that again. Yeah, yesterday's low on that one will be very interesting. It may mean my pound US won't work. We'll see. So let me just bracket this one. So yeah, so we've had a weak close, but they're just possibly buying that dip, possibly. But I'm in the Euro yen, so I will stay in that one. But this one looks equally good. DAX is doing nothing. It's a big 0 this week, unless you were lucky enough to not get stopped out of my long yesterday. Very frustrating. Tick for a tick, I think. I got stopped out by 1 or 2 pips on that one. The range, yeah, coming into some support on that. There's the, but that's not the Euro bar, is it? Okay. So I'm expecting some extreme volatility, so I need to make sure I get on the right side of it. Okay, so I am leaving the DAX. I'm long pound US dollar and I'm long euro yen. And we have data at 9 for Europe, and we have UK GDP at 9:30. So target for this one, I'm going to put it at 450. Bear with me 1 minute. The sun's streaming in my office. I just got to turn the blind up. That's better. Right, target. That's what I was going to do. I've got 495. Let's just come under that 450. 447. So I'm looking for, I've got 50 pips marked up there. Let's just see if that's realistic. Yeah, we're right on Sunday's open. This one is beginning to tick up. We've held open and closed on yesterday's low. Just saving my charts. And DAX is ticking up. Okay. There it goes. A decent 15-minute close, pull back into 996, and that's up. Showed you the trend line I had going along the bottom of that DAX. Let me show you what I did. For those of you who just joined us, this is what I did in the Dow yesterday. I had 30 pips on the, I shorted up here, because that was a fib resistance, a 161 extension on my daily. I got 30 pips to down there, left it on the table, gave it back, well, that's fine. And then shorted into, this was a 200% extension on yesterday's 15-minute chart. That moved 40 pips as well. So if you traded close to the open and close to the close, you would have got 70 pips to the downside potentially. Euro yen not holding at the moment. Okay. DAX is really getting a bit of a push. Right off of Sunday's open. Well, yeah, if that's going to have a bullish day, then we can wait for a fade. Let's hope we get a fade. That's a very extremely big bar. Well, 24, 25 pip bar. Pound US is beginning to get a lift. Euro yen is just holding the floor. Pound yen is coming off of that 9.28. This had a decent push up from 8 o'clock last night, 7:30, 8 o'clock last night. So London is just going back to those levels. Okay, nothing else to show you at this stage. That DAX was very nice. The beauty of being a day trader, a scalper, is that you can just flip it. You could short something one day and then turn around, or even one session, and turn around and buy it the next session. Right, we've got this one, Euro Yen, just holding, and this one beginning to get a lift. This could, what do I think the target potential is on this? I think there is a good chance we may see 135 this week, possibly 133, 135 this week if we can pick up from here, if we can get a lift as we come out of this session. I think the Euro Yen could potentially go bonkers this week. We may, an extreme example, may even see 140. So 600 pips above us. Doesn't look like it now, does it? Equally, we could break, close under 133 and go right back to some depths on this one. So if I just pull up a weekly chart for a minute. So you can see we've got a decent, we've been consolidating here, and we're just on the verge of trying to break this upper zone at 415. If we break 415, like I said, we could see the 140, and if we really, really strike out back end of the year, we could see some of these levels. The bearish scenario is we break this week's lows and come tumbling down to at least 129. So we have this little area here at the moment. Let's stick to that weekly for a minute. Let's just look at the weekly DAX. Just sitting on top of this 12,950. The MACD looks as if there is still plenty of scope for that to push higher. Equally, close under 950, and this is toast. This has had it. Dow, well, on the weekly chart, breaking that 243 suggests we could come up to 25,000, close to 25,000. Broken out of the funnel pattern, we keep closing higher. That's fine. You know, I'll buy some dips if that really wants to hold up. Definitely. Pound yen, right in that apex. Pound US weekly, just sitting. So we had this big push in August into September. We've fallen back into support close to 130. If we get going, we could potentially see 140 plus on that one. or ultimately back to the pre-Brexit 150. So I'm beginning to gather a few pips in that one. The Euro yen is drifting lower. Let's look at this Euro Aussie. So we had this lower close 2 weeks back, and I started buying the dips after that lower close, and here we are doing nicely. Last week we closed above this trend line. If I pull this out, you can see the trend line I've got. So it's coming from the high of August 15, Feb 16. So once I put that trend line on, it caught the high of June 17, and then we can see this momentum picking up here. Let me draw that a bit more accurately. Okay, it's a little apex here. We're breaking to the high side of it with the potential to get up to these highs. Right, let's get back to business of the charts today. And we have a Euro yen that's struggling. It's actually come out of the range, okay. Should have picked the pound yen, not the Euro yen. That's just gap filled. Right, that's back. So if this comes back down to, got a very, very nice bullish 15-minute chart then. So 937 is a pullback zone on that one. Pound US, I've not got a lot of pips in it, but I'm above the resistance and that's growing. How many pips have I got? 10. Euro yen at the moment is, my stop must be close, 84. Very close to the stop out on that one. That's a shame. Possibly too early. The main support area would be this 70. It's possible we may see 70 if I get stopped out. So I will reconsider an entry if that is going to be the case. DAX has shot up in one big bar and it's just drifting now. So that's a fade at, if you see anything between 5 and 15, that is a potential fade. This is the area I'm looking at. So in Scalper School, it doesn't matter if you miss it. Well, it does matter if you miss it, but it's not the end of the world because hopefully we can catch a dip. Just saving my charts. Right. Any questions? I would take a very close, if we've missed a good move in the DAX, let's be patient for a good move. What worries me is, what concerns me about this market is this NASDAQ is throwing in sell signals on the daily. Let me just pull the daily over rather than mess that around. This is what concerns me about the health of the market. We're still well within this channel, this funnel. You can see I'm a big fan of chart patterns as well as fibs. So we came up here from July. The pullback in August was held. The pullback in September was held. We did have a higher close yesterday, but we've got a sell signal up here last week. So I think we might see some further pushes. We may see a test of the 6,000. But like I said, it's a higher close yesterday. It's a close above 60.90. And we may come and see 6,200. But we're definitely on the line here at the moment. This little area here, you could even draw a narrower funnel, narrower trendline resistance now. Right, let's go back to today's and see where we are, and then I'm going to take a break. Pound yen is charging up, which is of course the one I'm not in, but I am in the pound US. So that support level I showed you on the 60 minutes is holding really well. That is now a fade at 940, but we've got data coming out, so let's just see. At least I'm picking up some pips on that. Okay, Euro yen is beginning to pick up. I'm close to my entry point. It's almost coming back to my entry point. So maybe just got in a little bit too early, but no such thing as a bad entry, only a bad exit. I'll just repeat that. Those of you who know me well have heard me say this before. There is no such thing as a bad entry, only a bad exit. Right, DAX is just drifting lower now after that big punch higher. So not finding buyers up there at the moment. Let's have a look at the Nikkei, because that is all the time this is holding up. I think the markets will do okay. Daily chart on that is fine. Let me just make sure I've got the right. Oh, you're on the wrong. Blimey. I've forgotten to switch you back to my 5-minute desktop. Okay. That's it. Let's just concentrate on the. Let's make sure this pound yen is going to do okay. So I was talking about DAX, and I was thinking you were looking at this screen. Yeah, that's the previous day's close. This is a little breakout we've had here. So anything between 5 and 15 could potentially be an area. 8 to 10 on the 15-minute chart is support. Pound US really beginning to tick up now. So currently 16 pips on that, on this. So that is now a fade at 22, 23. And at long last, the Euro yen is, I can announce, almost just about back to my entry point. Right. So it's a good week overall. Let's look at oil, because oil popped up yesterday. A lot of news and talk from OPEC on this as they tried their utmost. To bring oil up. So I got invents today. So any push back into that support area would be welcome. That's the high, that's the low. Yeah, so we push into 52 area or lower, that is a buy. Oil is really perking up. Okay, so we are, for those of you who just joined us, we are long pound US. I took the liberty of buying the low end of the range on this because of last week's low, yesterday's low. Let's just come into scalper score target, and Euro yen is flat for me. I didn't get low enough, or I didn't get a low of the session. I took the lower point in the range and we dipped out of it. So it's a good week for me so far. Little choppy during Monday, a little choppy during Tuesday, as you expect. A lot of manoeuvring by the markets, a lot of shifting. Wow, look at this pound Aussie. Last week's low was just under 167. So we're 300 pips off of that low. I am 230 pips on this swing trade. And just beginning to see, I think what I might do is, I think with this pound, I think I just need to stick to a scalper score target here. And then get back in. Sorry, I should have, yeah, it's a bit, I'm talking so much and not, I put a wacky target on there, when in fact I should be just sort of grabbing what I can from this and then waiting for the data. I think it's the best strategy on that one. So 40 is a resistance area. Let's put 40 on there. I've got 35, that'll do. All right, if you say 40, let's put it up to 40. Okay, I'm going to give it 25 pips on that one. And then I'm going to wait till the data's out of the way. Right, nothing else to look at. I can't think of anything else to show you at this stage. For those of you who just joined us, definitely watch the first part of the video, because I switched you to my bigger picture screen and we did a run through of the pound, the euro and the indices. So I'd recommend you just look at the first period in the room for that. And I'm going to just break away for a short period and come and talk to you at 5 to 9. I've got CAD rates tomorrow, haven't we? This is going to be a benefactor of oil. This is another way of trading oil, actually. This is CAD yen. Some decent moves last week to the downside. I'm just going to alert that area there, 950, 954. That's foolish of me not to come out of that. Just going to grab what I've got there. Sorry about that. I should have put a closer target on that. I'm just grabbing what I can on that for the moment, and then just going to wait till the data's out of the way. I don't think it will charge up from here, but if it does, I'll have to live with that. I'm hoping we're going to come back to at least 110, 120. In other words, fade into the range, and then if it's going to go, I want to buy it later. Right, that's it. I'm just going to leave that euro yen on there. I'm just slightly underwater, marginally underwater, but looking for that to break up. Okay, I will go quiet and talk to you in about 15 minutes. Okay, how are we doing? Pound has fallen back to that area I talked about. Should have been putting in unrealistic targets is not a good idea. I will stop doing that and concentrate on just getting the scalp over and done with. I would make money out of it, but yeah, just a little late getting out of that one. We're right on the line as usual with a piece of data coming out in 35 minutes or 32 minutes. So happy just to let that one wiggle around a bit. This one I'm just at my entry point, so I've done nothing with it. Not been able to get that to break. The ceiling and that close and that big number 400 is causing problems at the moment. DAX flew up and has done nothing since, so 10 minutes of scurrying up to the upside, and here we are just drifting lower. So I think the chances of a healthy fade are increasing, so keep an eye on that one. And nothing else to go on at the moment. Like I said, I've got CAD yen alarmed. Swing trade in Euro Aussie continues to tick up. Been banging on about that all last week. That's it. So at the moment, all I've got in my scalp account is this one. And just as we're coming into the top of the hour, just beginning to see a little bit of movement, but not much, not a lot to speak of. Any questions? Let me know. Anything you're looking at, share it with us. Otherwise, we've got the CAD data coming up. Actually, the pound, yeah, this is, let's look at EuroCAD again. Talked about this at the weekend. That could well fly. A pull back in this one could really get this going. All right, I'm seeing a bit of a push. Okay, we're seeing a push in Euro Yen. I've forgotten there was data. Of course, there's data, isn't there? Okay, so I'm so busy lining the charts up, I forgot the 9 o'clock data. Focused on the pound data and not this one. So Euro Yen is buzzing up, and Euro CAD is doing well. Let's have a look at the Euro US then. Yeah, the ECB on Thursday. This euro is a big deal, so I should be paying more attention to it. Right, this is only just potentially breaking out. Only just. No idea what the data is. I'm just going to get a small position on this. So I'm just going to take a scalp on this one. Okay, I've gone long this one at 260 at 765. Let's get a realistic target. Let's go to 800 for a scalp into 800. Just more on the scalp. That's well, yeah, it is just above the scalper score target. Yep, so I'm a few pips above my entry in Euro Yen. Really getting some speed up on Euro Aussie and just slightly underwater on this one. So why have I gone long here? Normally, let's just talk about how data can work. Whoops. Normally, the first move in a data period of data is the direction. Second, then you get the pullback, then you get the actual move. So it's direction pullback move normally. Otherwise, the safer way of doing it, which may mean you're getting higher, is to mark off the high and the low of the range and trade whichever way it breaks out of the range. So if this is going to be the range of the euro US dollar, you could short 760, assuming we close here. Of course, we're not closed on this bar yet. Short 760 or go long at 771. Okay, so I'm going to break off again until we get to UK data time now. DAX, like I said, the target is for that to fade. That's a good 60-minute bar now, so let's see if we get a pull back into the 60-minute bar via that fade. And that's what I'm going to do, is I'll leave you looking at the euro yen. What did that get to? That got to 8. It's about 12 pips above my entry at its most recent high. Okay, and I will go quiet now until 25 past, unless something significant happens, some significant change in the markets. I will sit in the euro yen and the euro US and see if I can get this push. Obviously, we've got ECB in 2 days' time. I want to it's tomorrow. I've lost a day. It's tomorrow, isn't it? ECB tomorrow. Okay, I'll go quiet till 25 past. Okay, quick run through for those of you who just joined us. We are long euro yen from 394, 395. We've already taken a scalp in the pound US. This is now fading 180, 120 with data coming up. And I've just gone long this one. That is the range of the data bar. I've gone long here at 764. I need it to break the high of this data range at 770, 771. I'm looking for a target of 800, just under 800. Otherwise, I'm going to be back with you at 25 past. So I will see you at 25 past. See you then. Right, here we are at 25 past the hour, 5 minutes till the UK data comes. What constrained market we've got here at the moment. We get this 10 minutes of push, and here we are just fighting this big 13,000. I just get the feeling we're going to get some big moves with this market. You just need to make sure you're on the right side of them when they come. Here we are, day before ECB, with this looking very bullish and finding a lot of sellers. So I'm assuming it's scared off by the potential for this euro to push up. So we're having a fight between the euro and the DAX at the moment. We've got 3 higher closes in the 15-minute chart, so I'm happy to stay in this. Always wary that I could get stopped out. That's fine. That's why I measure my risk. And this one push higher to 406 or 7, and again 3 higher closes in the 15-minute chart. We did this yesterday. It looked weak and feeble and lack of volume, and then it just eventually just ground up and pushed higher. So we just need to see if we can close above that 20. I think we can get a decent push, but in the meantime, it's held back. They're not letting it go. And the DAX at the moment is potentially going to roll over unless we start to. Yeah, maybe we're going to come and see this 85. 82 I talked about earlier, didn't I? It looks as if we're going to see 82. So slip through 82 and we're in trouble. Otherwise, that could be a good area to get going. So don't stop watching that. Keep a very close eye on that. Yeah, it could be that. That's why I never engage markets that do a big rush like that, a big bar. Because there's so many traders miss out. You tend to get the bigger money sitting on the sidelines waiting for it to pull back. And that's exactly what it's doing right now. Is it pulling back? Is it about to sell off? I think it's pulling back, but in this kind of market, you can never be too sure. It's an incredibly, my 3-hour chart is the flattest chart I've seen for ages. So in that sort of environment, this could still, just be coming down to get some volume. It's typical in a very flat environment to dip before it runs up. I'm certainly not going to commit to that running up unless I get some confirmation down here that they're buying it. In the meantime, the Euro US is really quiet, beginning to look as if it could perk up, but not certain. And I am at my entry point for this. I didn't think I'd be saying that on air and whatever after I took the trade, but yeah, that's the situation I'm in. And this pound US right on the line as we come into GDP. So let's watch this one. I'll get my ticket ready just in case I decide to jump in on a pullback of a move. And looking okay. I've got a feeling it's going to fire up, but I don't know for certain. Nobody can tell. Nobody knows unless you've seen what the data is. And even then, you can't tell exactly how the market's going to react. Interesting times. Interesting times. I think we're going to. Yeah, there we go. I thought that might happen. It looked as if it could. Yeah, GDP is coming higher. Now, is that going to affect my euro? Yes, it is. DAX is still not happy. And there were signs that could happen. I drew that trend line this morning, and that trend line's held really nicely. It's not fired up the euro at the moment, but it certainly helped it. And the DAX traders are obviously getting concerned about the change in rates. So that's a runaway on the pound. So the only way you could sit in that is to stay in that trade that I took this morning. It's going to hit those crazy targets I had, isn't it? Right, how can we play it? Let's just see if we get, so it's, how big is the bar? So we've got 123 at the moment to 170. If we pull back to 35, I will consider an entry at 35. Right, let's look at the DAX. I'm just going to nibble along here. Right, I've gone long the DAX because of that 60-minute trend line predominantly, and the way in which that is pushing up. Okay, my euro is beginning to pick up. Euro Aussie is steaming ahead still. Well, it's not steaming ahead, it's just grinding higher, beginning to look better. The pound euro yen is at long last beginning to show some willing. They may be about to release that, I don't know. Push through 770 would do me a power of good. And that one is looking as if it might throw a hammer on the floor of the range. I basically bought the floor of the range. And a 60-minute trend line, that's what I bought. Now, target. I'm going to leave that up there at 98 for now, and then I will adjust that to, 50 is a distinct possibility. We've seen that this morning. Not quite. We saw 48 this morning. I think let's just be conservative. Let's be scalper school-like and just stick a target of 50 in there. 47. I'll go to today's highs. And pound yen is just going up bonkers. The euro is picking up speed, so we are able to, well, if you assume you followed me, we are able to capitalize on this, but not to the same extent as that runaway pound. In a way, I suppose my scalping has been, it's been conservative. I didn't even risk a few quid or any slippage of that really sort of firing to the downside on the pound. I just took it out. So my trading has been a little conservative in the room, but at least I'm profitable. I took a slice out of the pound and then backed off. That's once you get a run like that. At some stage today, it's possible we'll get at least 330 pullback, unless this really goes mad and just flies away beyond us. Well, I shorted the Dow yesterday, and it just turned up. So I'm going to buy the DAX today and hope the same thing happens to the DAX, that it just works its way up later in the day. Nothing much to report. I'm not going to try and engage that pound unless we see a dip. And that's a huge 5-minute bar now. We're right into resistance. We've got lots of pivot resistance up there. I'm not inclined to risk it. I always find with runaway bars like that, it's just better just to wait until the rush is out of the way. So I suspect there's at least some profit taking at this stage. DAX is not doing it. We had a higher close, but it's not doing it. We're back to that low. Let me make sure. Should have stuck to my guns because that is, yeah. I said it was going to touch that yesterday's low. I jumped into that a little too quick. I'm going to leave it. Because I had a small, I've just let myself got stopped out for a few quid. I'm going to leave it. If we get a higher close on this 15-minute chart later in the day, particularly 10 to 10:30, then I might consider going back in. But I'm just going to leave it and see if, in the meantime, just stay in these. I'm only just above my entry on this, but I am doing okay on the euro. So I'm 11, 12 pips up on this one. That looks to me as if that's really going to crack up. At the moment, I've got a target of 447. So another 30 odd pips higher on that one. And the pound is drifting lower. So like I said, I think if you were patient, somewhere around this 25.30 might be seen again. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sit in these trades. I'm going to do nothing else and sit in these trades. And what you could do with this one is you could either start to get out or to scale out. So you could take what you've got. We've got coming to 15 pips at the moment, not a lot. I'm going to at least push that stop up. Why not? No point sitting there and if anything happens, that coming back on you. So it looks as if 420 is the next target. Yesterday's high is the next target, potentially, and that looks as if 793 could be seen if we can just break. I'll take this box off now. Let's just sit. Okay, so we've got a break and a fade at the moment on this. We just closed above the range. We've just retested the range. Now, can they let it go? Are they going to let that fire up? Or is that just going to drift and who knows, maybe even roll over? All right, I'm going to stay in these trades. Didn't take my own advice. My own advice was to watch 982. For some reason, I forgot that when I saw the floor holding. So I will. Yeah, I might look at that later if we are holding at 10 o'clock. But that's it. I'm going to just let these trades sit there for now. So you know what I'm doing with my existing trades. I suggested what you might want to do with the pound US dollar. Suggested what you might want to do with the DAX. So I'm going to leave that. Then I'll just follow up some thoughts on the Dow. 320. Well, that's a long way away, isn't it? I think we might see 350, 370. We might see that. If that is potentially a buy. Would I sell this? I would if we retested 486, 500, or even did a 127 extension. If we got up to 538 and put a sell signal in, I would definitely get it. I would definitely short that at 538. Right, that's my plan. I've got a lot to do, so I'm going to shoot off and just manage these trades, hoping that they deliver. I'm still only just above my entry on this at the moment. Obviously got a bit more on the euro yen, not a lot more. I'm only 8 pips up at the moment. It looks as if that might fade. Right, well, I'm going to stay put in those trades. Thank you for joining me. I will get the video off to you ASAP, and I will try and give you some better trade ideas in the Skype room later on. Thanks everybody, and bye for now.